too hot for any kind of forging. I forged last weekend and got up over 100 degrees in the garage. That's Fahrenheit, so not going to do that again this weekend. But what I am doing is I'm doing some stock removal on some 1095 steel that I got from the Leather Mule, who's my dad. He sent me some 1095 blanks. Not really blanks, but just bar. It's like 3/16 of an inch by 1.5 by, I think this is 12. I got the first one cut out. Just a clip point hunting knife. Can't really call it a Bowie, but it's going to have a fixed tang. But it's going to be a clip point hunting knife. And I'm going to make 3 of them. I got the second one traced out, and I got the third piece ready to go as well. So it's going to be all stock removal. There's going to be no forging. Like I said, it's just way too hot, and I just feel like I want to do something. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 knives on this known 1095 steel stock. So I'm going to stick around. We're just going to be doing a bunch of grinding and cutting and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. Alright, this piece of stock is slightly shorter for whatever reason. I got the bevels ground on the first one to a 120 grit off the belt sander, so nothing too crazy. Gonna be a little bit of hand sanding there. And now we're going to go and take the hacksaw and remove a bunch of the excess before we go over to the belt grinder, just to save wear and tear on my belt, since it's a lot faster actually. So hold on. Alright, so I got a new blade. Damn you. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to file in this choil. And it's just going to be a transition between the handle and the blade. So alright, so I'm just taking this coarse cut. I'm just kind of gonna get in this curve here a little bit that my belt grinder has trouble getting into. And I'll refine that with some drum sanders. Alright, so now I'm going to finish refining this. to its close to final profile. Alright, so now I'm going to get this part of the handle here where your finger goes up, get that radiused. Alright, so I got my, this is my file guide. I just kind of use this as a guide for my plunge lines to keep them even on both sides. Sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't. Today I am. I'm going for a fairly steep saber grind, so hopefully I don't screw it up and have to change that, but that's what we're going for. So I'm going to go ahead and get started laying in the bevels. This is a 60 grit belt that I'm going to start with. Then we'll switch to a 120 when we get a little bit closer. Alright, so if you're still hanging in there, I'm going to go ahead and give you a tip. So I did this side first, my left hand. I consider that my weak side. Do the weak side first. So if you get the weak side straight, as far as your coordination goes, then you get on your strong side, your dominant side, usually goes a lot better. So that's kind of what I like to do. I like to start off on the weak side, kind of get it close. And then, go to my right side, my right hand, my dominant hand, and then I'll do that side. So usually if I don't screw this up when I'm on the using my left draw, then 9 times out of 10, everything turns out pretty decent. So. Alright, so now I'm switching to a 120 grit belt, and I got these on eBay, and I tell you, if I could remember who I bought them from, I would let you know right now, because I would give them a terrible review. These are supposed to be a 2x72, and if I had to guess, this is probably coming in at about 1 7/8, because it's not even the width of my platen. So yeah, if I could remember where I got these, I would say don't buy from them, because that is not 2 inches. And I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, it is a big deal to me because it's advertised as 2 inches. It should be the width of my platen, but I have to constantly adjust tracking left or right depending on what I'm doing, so kind of irritating. But all right, enough of that. We're got the grind 60 grit. Now we're going to double that 120. Alright, so on this grind, it got a little higher and thinner than I wanted to on the edge. So you can see how thin it got. So I'm going to have to cut this down, because that'll never survive heat treat. And then we got to put the false edge on top, so hold on. Alright, so now I'm going to get the false edge in on the top.
Alright, so now that I got the false edge in on the top, I got to come back down to the primary bevel, bring that line back into the point. So I don't know if you can see that, but the everything needs to meet at the point. Alright, so here we are. Here's the lines we got so far. This one here got a little bit thin right here, so I'm gonna put another choil in there. So I kind of actually have a little bit of a handle. I don't know what you'd call it, like a handle tang. So a little bit different than the first one, but that's kind of the way it goes when you're freestyle grinding. Like you see, as you can see, I don't use a jig or anything, but probably would be smart to. If I had a better grinder and a better platen, I probably would. But this is what I got, and this is where we're at. So I got one more to put the bevels in, and then yeah, we'll get on to the next step. Alright, time to drill the holes in the tang. I went ahead and punched a dot so I know where to drill. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. It's easier to do it now. You don't want to heat treat the blade and run the risk of getting the tang hard, because if you do, you're never going to be able to drill through it. So. Alright, those were 1/4 inch holes for pins. Now I'm going to do a 3/8 hole for a lanyard liner. Now I got 2 more holes to drill between the pin holes, and it's not for weight reduction, it's for epoxy crossover. So you get epoxy going through the tang on both and connecting both sides of the scales. That was just some final little touch-ups on a 120 grit, hitting the flats, making sure I'm good. So this one here is ready for hand sand and almost ready for heat treat. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this video down. On a hot June day, a little bit too hot to forge. I got 3 knives, all stock removal. Clip point hunting knives, full tang. Yep, these things are ready for hand sand, and then after hand sand it'll be heat treat, and then some handle work. But as far as this video goes, we're going to go ahead and shut it down. So that's pretty much the process on the stock removal, at least the way I do it. Like I said, this is known 1095 steel, about 3/16 of an inch thick. So I'm going to go ahead and get you a little bit of a close-up, and then we're going to go ahead and shut this down. And just want to thank everyone for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one.